hand it to you. Yeah?
Hi. Wait, whatever. Okay, so I think both guests are going to be coming up at the same time, not so? Yeah. Okay, so I'm inviting Harriet and Isaac to join us on the front center stage. Hi guys, welcome to meetup. Thank you for joining us. I think everybody knows the theme for this edition is gaming. So both our guests are, would I say veterans? Professionals in the gaming industry. And I'm sure they're going to give us some insight into what's happening in the Ugandan gaming scene. So we can do a quick intro with both of you, giving us the highlights of who you are, what you do, and what you're going to share with us today.
Hi everyone. My name is Harriet Jamwa, but I'm best known as Ree. I work with Tech Anatomy as the lead illustrator. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Isaac. I'm on Pyre. You can just say Pair. I'm on Pair. Yeah. So I'm founder, Birunji Studios, which is a game development studio here in Uganda, but we have a branch in the Netherlands. Yeah, so that's a bit of an intro. Yeah.
Are you guys both introverts? What's happening? Those were such brief introductions. So I think, yeah. Okay. So, those were some really highlighted introductions. Are they going to first present? Should they present first? Do you have a presentation? Okay, so I don't know who's going to go first. But I've just learned about Isaac's game. I don't know if you guys have also created a game that exists. Is it available for download? Okay, so yeah, that's why. So I didn't know there were Ugandan, actual Ugandan games, apart from the only Ugandan made game that I know is Matatu. I don't know if it's still there. I don't know if that's showing how old I am, but not Matatu cards, like Matatu the actual game, yeah? I don't know if you guys have played it before or seen it, but yeah, that's the only game I know. But there is now, I think Isaac will tell us about IB Exploring. And then there was another one I saw which was called Noga, like to pick. And it was basically like one of those fruit like collecting games, yeah? Where like you go around collecting like tokens or things, and it's basically a version of Candy Crush, like most beginner level games are. I don't know if we're yet on the level of like RPG games and things like that. One can dream, but hopefully these guys will give us some neat insight into what's cooking. I can start asking you guys some questions before you begin your presentation. For Harriet, while Isaac prepares. Gaming. Was this always your plan, or did you land into gaming by accident?
Gaming wasn't always my plan. Actually, how I landed into gaming was through singing. I had a friend in university who was like, oh, I have this friend. He's called Ronald Kaiba. He does music. So I was like, yeah, I think we should go and visit. So I go visit Ron with my friend, and he's the one who introduced me to all these music things because I'm a vocalist as well. So he introduced me to Fruity Loops and all that. So I asked him, why do you do music? He's like, I also do music because I'm making a game. So that's how I got into gaming, because I ended up doing music for his one of his games. And then through that relationship, that's when we became close and then we started working together. And this friend of mine is actually Hannington, who is our 3D designer. And I'm also an artist, so I'm an illustrator as well. But my main thing that brought me into gaming was singing.
Okay.
Yeah.
When was this?
2018.
So we'll just jump into Isaac's presentation and then your presentation, and then we'll ask the questions after we've got some background.
Okay, so we are sorry for the technical quagmire. IB Exploring is already available on Google Play, Test Flight for Apple Store. So basically, IB Exploring is a game developed by Birungi Studio. It's about a bee that's flying around collecting pollen, making nectar through the huddles of the bush. As you play the game some more, you enter an urbanized area. So you find lots of pesticides, you find lots of buildings, and very little food for the bee. So I titled this From Birungi Studio to a Game Development Ecosystem. And by the end of the presentation, maybe you'll find out why the title is like this. Yeah, so next slide talks about how I began gaming, or programming, I can say. I don't know if any of you has ever patched a game. Most people here are from the PlayStation era where there's lots of, you just download the game, play. Back in the day when we were growing up, you just download a game and then it can't play. You don't even know what to do. So we had something called DLL files. You shift one file into another folder and then you discover what actually makes the game run. So for us, we patched so many pirated games. I don't know if anyone has pirated a game here. Raise of hands. Yeah, but because we have... yeah, because now with PlayStations, Nintendo Switches, you just download a game and play it. Back in the day, it was like so hard. It was actually very costly to play a game, to buy a game. So download it, Pirate Bay, maybe it's even a virus. It first crashes your computer. And then you figure out, okay, now I need to patch it. So I played a lot with files and figured out that, you know what? Actually, you can play a free game. Never looked back. Right now, I'd always say I'm a PC gamer compared to the console gamer. I would prefer any day to play games on PC. It's just that now they're getting heavier, so you need like a very expensive laptop. And actually, if you know this, gaming laptops cost way more than consoles right now. Yeah, because it has graphics. If you have a good monitor, it's going to render much better than you would do on your console. So I'm not going to go into the argument of PC versus console. It's always out there. Yeah, but then it switches me to my next slide, how my career took me to this. So I did IT. I have some people here who know me as not the best at it, but eventually I got to learn so many things. So the thing is, I have done so many things. Some people know me for graphics. Some people know me for animation, Maria. And I've worked on different projects. So over a period of time, I worked on big projects for UNICEF, Y Plus, and I realized there is not one container that can contain my skill set. I just have to adapt because we're in the money-making business, right? Yeah, so like, let's do this. So I got an opportunity to work with like very talented people. I met so many people through such projects, which drives me to my next chapter, which is bee farming. I'm also a bee farmer. So in the village, I set up a beehive business. I can say I gave them a home and they started thriving. So at some point, I was doing too many things. I'm sorry I'm talking about what led to all this before I show you the game. So I'm a bee farmer, and it's something very exciting when you try to harvest honey and get stung by this thing. So it was like a very good experience for me to leave my desk, because to be honest, computer people were just in our basements, desks just seated doing this work, but this is like an outdoor experience. So while I was doing this, I was like, what if we did something that connects technical stuff to agriculture? And the first idea that came into my head was a bee game. So the vision, as you can see, was to transform this ecological awareness stuff, inclusivity, into tech. How do we merge all these things together? That's the very first game, I be exploring. So as you know, my background is also in graphics design. I designed graphics for a period of time, and then I played around with a few things, and then I learned Unity. Unity is like the game development engine. And then all of a sudden, I realized, you know what, you can actually create a bee and fly around. It was like very sketchy. It still is very sketchy when you look at the game. It's not like Call of Duty or these very big games that we are all used to playing. So there is so much that we integrated with time. And there is, as you can see on the screen, there is like early development, what were the mechanics needed for you to make the bee fly around. There's a lot of research involved in this. Sorry. And then I just kept improving. And then all of a sudden, I had a concept, something that I could use on my Android, show people what I'm actually working on. And then, as you can see, every slide I made sure has a quote. So the best way to predict the future is to invent it. And when I was doing all this stuff, I was like, there is so much that we can achieve with technology. How do you merge agriculture and technology? So in the end, I started, you can see the process, sketching around, very weird sketches from the beginning, sketching what I would want the gameplay to look like, what I'd want people to look at when they're playing the game, the mechanics, how does a bee fly, because as a bee farmer, I know bees fly like this. So if you ever get stung by a bee, it's either because you are in its territory or you smell bad, a weird perfume, but they just don't sting you. So you have to learn everything about bees as much as you can. So I designed some few things here and there using Unity. I learned also a few tools, maybe from Blender. I already knew some animation. So it kept improving and improving. But this is as an indie dev, still doing it solo. And then this is where we ended up. I'd be exploring. So I'd be exploring is basically a story of a bee just exploring the world. Players can explore different biomes, collect pollen, pollinate flowers. There are also challenges in the game, and the best thing with this game that has caught international attention is but the aspect of education. How do you make people entertained while teaching them something? So if you download the game, you'll notice that the bee is flying. When it knocks obstacles, it crashes. It crashes and loses energy. Eventually, they ask you a question like, how many wings do bees have? How many eyes do you think a bee has, by the way? Question. Anyone? Eyes. How many? Not two. Not two. 5? No. No. Simple answer is 4. Yeah. Yeah, 4 eyes. They're integrated to, like, they look like 2, but in the eyes, it's like a set of 2, 2. Yeah, you can say that. And then there are so many questions within the big can fly. For a kilometer per hour or whatever, like 20 kilometers per hour or something. Yeah, so that's the integration we added to the game, because when you fail, then you get quizzed. Instead of the ads you're used to seeing where they ask you to watch a video, for us, we're like, you know what? Let's add a quiz. How do we make this very entertaining and educative? Yeah, so the gameplay experience, it's rewarding. We have different chapters. Once you pass one biome, you go into another, which is like more urban. So more urban means less pollen, less flowers. Yeah, so I found a mentor. I went, pitched this idea to a friend who connected me to a professor at Media College in Amsterdam. So within a period of 6, 7 months, we were already in Amsterdam. I have a bunch of students. They're all doing game design, 2D artists, and all animation, and all creative work. It's like, so you know what? I'll just give you these students, you work with them, and see how far you can go. So I can not emphasize this enough. The biggest thing I've learned in my journey is your network, your connections. You can be as skilled as you want in life, but if you don't have the proper connections, you'll stay in your basement or your mom's basement. So I met these people. I'm sorry to whoever I've offended. Yeah, but that's the truth. I mean, we can stay in the basement if you can afford it. It's all okay. But if you have a good mentor, you will find the perfect connection for what. Just a 2D artist, but you'll find yourself working for Netflix because of the people you know. So for me, I believe that's the biggest connection that I ever made. And then I got support from these people. We have built this game. It's now available in all the stores because of the connections we have. Yeah, so when I was talking to Toby about game development, I told him you might think it's just like 2D art or programming, but it's a whole bunch of skills. Until you decide to start something, then you will never know. So for us, you start as a programmer because you have some background in design. You think you can pull it off, and then you figure out, is this entertaining enough? And then you decide, who is going to test this? I have met so many people that have designed games, but they have no idea who is going to test it, because who is willing to play your game? So that's the question with game development. Who is going to play your game? Who is your audience? Are they interested? Are they going to just toss it away? So we have so many categories. Because when I say game design, I'm not just talking about developers. My next screen shows animators, it shows anthropology, it shows architecture. I've been seeing so many architecture plans here, which is like something that I love to talk about, because how do you create an environment? Things like business. Like now I'm talking to you, but 2 years ago I was nervous. I would not even talk to a bunch of people on stage. And then economics, because now you've made the game, how are you going to sell it, how are you going to publish it, engineering, communication, visual arts, technical writing, who's going to write all these things for you, mathematics, my worst subject, but I grew to love it. So there are so many things, psychology, there's a bunch of things, history. So whenever you see a game like God of War, you just do not, I'm not a big fan of God of War by the way, but when I look at it, I look at the mythology behind it, how the story is told, and that's what really creates a game. So it's not just about knowing your programming or how to design, it's more like how am I going to tell a story, keep the audience captivated, and stuff like that. There's so many dimensions to game development. Yeah. So, with the students that we have working on the game, we were able to be at Gamescom. Gamescom is an event, it's like Comic-Con, but for games in Germany. It was in Cologne last year. And you're not going to see me in the photo because I was in Uganda doing some other work, but it shows you how international the game has grown from in a period of less than 2 years. We are at Gamescom, we have a booth, we are presenting, and studio differs. In Uganda, it's very different because at the end of my presentation, you see why I'm here. It's to create a network, to make people from different backgrounds all connect and be able to create something. But it's very different in the Netherlands. The main principle is inclusivity. We have a lady in a wheelchair. We call our own Stephen Hawking because she just moved like one hand. But she's one of the best 2D artists I've met with just one hand and her brain. So this community is a bunch of people with like disabilities, mental health issues, and the main focus in the group is to see how we can involve everyone with a different skill set into game design, game development, and give them a portfolio, something that they can always show and be proud of, like, you know what, I worked on this. So at Gamescom, they loved it. People reached out to us, and actually we even got a free office. Someone gave us a free office in Purmerend, which is near Amsterdam. So it's like one thing leads to another, to another, to another, from just like the concept, and now we have an office there. So among the achievements of the game, we also won an award in Netherlands, the best indie game unreleased, the best unreleased game. And the concept started here, but yes, so thanks for the hand clap. It was very beautiful to see a game less than 2 years old come beat all these games. So it was just from concept to teamwork to a network and all the things that we've been able to achieve in less than 2 years. So if you start something in like 2024 and 2025 December, you're already winning an award, your next also was so lucky. I got funding from Privatia, which is the Swiss Arts Council, to have a trip to Switzerland last year. I was there for about 3 months. They funded my research trip. I had to go to all these different shows, Popcorn and Game Show, Hero Fest. I visited the Museum of Games, located in Lausanne. It's also in, yeah, he knows where it is. So it's like, I compared our museum. I mean, sorry, we are talking about games, but when I talk about this, sometimes it sounds different. So imagine you go to a museum in Switzerland and you find Moeso, the African game, our own game. And we don't have it in our museum here. So I was so fascinated about history of gaming. When we talk about games, most people think it's video games or something, but even creating a card game is something so impressive. So there's like so much history, how people played games, what were the importances of games during those days, and where gaming has reached up to now. And for me, the best thing is culture. Every culture has its own games. We might play Call of Duty and one, but culture is a very important aspect of gaming. Why do we play Mweso? Why do we play Matatu? I don't know if all countries have. Do you know what Matatu is? Yeah, but they have the same cards, but they play poker with them. Yeah, yeah, the card game. So everyone has a different reason why they play a game. And when I went to the Museum of Games, I saw how different, they call it mangalas. Yeah, that's how they call it, but we know it as Mweso. It's some East African game. So eventually, it was something that I was so fascinated to see. So I also got an opportunity to showcase the IB Exploring game. You can see a little kid playing it and loving it. There are so many opportunities that game development can bring to you. That's what this slide is about, the power of funding. Without that fund, I would never know where Switzerland is, I would never know what Zurich is. But then because I had created something, they felt like, you know what, how about we trade culture? How about you show us something from Uganda, we show you something from Switzerland? Which was a very beautiful experience, I can tell you. So in that next picture, you'll see me that's the Swiss Games Hub. So lucky to meet the president of the Swiss Games Hub, to know the importance of collaboration. It's a place as beautiful as this one. Different studios just come, set up here, set up there, and then eventually whoever has a game can talk to a publisher. It's like a network. I know lots of you are very good artists here, but one thing I feel like we lack is a network, is a collaboration environment where if I need a 2D artist, where will I go to? Who will I talk to? So I'm very proud of what Kelele has done, because we can all sit here in one place as a game dev, as an artist, as someone who is doing craftsmanship, so many different things just in one place. And that's the biggest thing I feel like we can do as Ugandans. Next slide. So just recently, I attended the DG Art Fest, and I saw the different things. Thanks to my friend who actually shot a video of the DG Art Fest last year, and she's actually here. She shot it, and when I was out there, people asked me, so do you have an environment where people can connect with each other? And then I figured out we don't. If someone comes here, I actually read a Reddit comment. Someone had come into Uganda and they're like, I'm a game developer and I'm looking for a community. And it was just like people just talking through Reddit saying, you know what? I create games, but I don't have a studio. I create games. Oh, I'm a 2D artist. I can help. There is need for something like that here. So there are so many opportunities. This is something that I'm willing to talk about. I'm very proud of the Arodem people for what they did last weekend. Last weekend there was a game jam. I don't know if any of you heard of it. Yeah, thank you. But for that, there are very few people who heard of it. And what if we had a community where if you're anything into multimedia, you know what is happening. So that if you have an idea, if you're a storyteller and you're like, you know, I have this great story, maybe made into a video, what Sebastian was talking about, like we don't have culture here. So if we could talk about, would I use? So I was excited about the RDM organized event last weekend, and that's where Birungi comes in. So Birungi is the studio. Now you know we are international. We have different ethical business models, but this is something that I will not talk about much here. I'll talk about collaboration, which is very key to what I'm trying to bring into this game scene. Collaboration, it's very important. So the models don't matter, the documentation don't matter, but because of collaboration, I have so many connections. If anyone wants to reach out about maybe the principles of game design, I have a professor who has studied like 3 masters in game design, who is willing to talk to you, who is willing to mentor you. So that's the very key thing. So there's also a vision about the game. One key thing I'll talk about is when you're creating, have a theme. Sometimes we create because we love creating, but there are some things that white people love. Some things like conservation, inclusivity, cultural exchanges, and these are themes that people are willing to give you money for. So there are different things, as you can see them on the screen, and there are so many people willing to share all this knowledge. So that takes me to the next chapter, which is Uganda Game Developers Association. I want to build a community. We've already started. We've already made some linkages here and there. And we want, if you're a developer, just connect to these people and say, I have this idea. Or if you're a lawyer, we even need lawyers. I saw someone saying they're a statistician and we might not need them. We need those stats. How many people are playing games? At what rate are they playing them? So we need everyone just in this community. Copyright, lawyer, come and help us. Some guy is going to get sued because of copying some other guy's work. Mentorship, collaboration, and then when we publish something, we shall have a global reach. Like, we can always talk about a game developed by Ugandans. That's the main whole thing about Uganda Game Developers Association. It's very free. No, the best, when I talked about game development, the first question one of my friends asked me is, what's my share? Bro, we are broke, but we shall make it. We shall make it. Because the guy is like, man, me, I want at least a share in your company. Money, what are you going to get? So one thing that I would emphasize is passion. I met so many talented people who would work during the day in a supermarket, at night, on their own games. And I asked them, man, it's not even going to give you any money. Why are you doing it? He's like, because I love it. I love creating. And for me, I feel that's one thing that should drive us. If your game is good, you'll get published. If you don't, at least you'll be proud you created something, yeah? Yeah, so the next slide is about joining the hive, the space, shaping the future, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, let's grow together. Yeah, so basically, let's grow together just talks about what we intend to do. After seeing the DG Art Fest, I was so pleased to see that we have a community here. People are willing to play the games. And imagine an art festival where you will reach and play Ugandan games. Wouldn't that be exciting? Yeah, because we play so much FIFA, we play Call of Duty, Warzone, and all these things. But imagine there is a section for Ugandan game developers. It will be so interesting. That's what I think. Because one experience is I went to those ends and I was shocked about cosplay. I don't know, here I saw like 2 people doing cosplay at DG Art Fest and everyone was looking at them, oh my God, what's that? But then the other side, I would see like the devil himself. I'm like I would be so shocked. I'm like, what's this? I was so shocked that the next day I had to go to church. I went to a church in Zurich and they are like, why are you here? And I'm like, I feel like many people here are possessed and I need to clean myself. Yeah, so there is so much, and if we start such things, if you have a game or an animation or even just a comic, imagine seeing your character, being someone dressing up as your character, right? Yes, so for me, I feel like that was the most important thing. I want to thank Kelele because of what they are doing.
This is all of us.
Hand clap, please. Because what they're doing is giving all of us a platform. If I don't mention this, then...
We're computer professionals. Did you notice?
Yeah, because we have artists. She has very beautiful work that we've never heard of. But because of Kelele, I'm seeing very beautiful things. By the way, if we have our own art fest, this is something that people will pay so much money for. More than 50 euros. It's very beautiful work. But then the question is, how do we get access to this? So because of what Kelele has done, I am very proud to be associated with him, Mr. Toby. Thank you, sir. Yeah, so I don't know if you have any questions, but I have some additional resources about the game development process. Yeah, so if you have questions, but then there's like the whole process, it starts with like a box. I don't know, can we play this? Yeah, so anyway.
We'll come back to that. Now it's a back and forth.
Yeah.
Let's talk to her and then we can get it.
Yeah, so you can see where the ideas began, the ideation process, how our assets organized. And the truth is with collaboration is you just learn how to organize yourself. You might be the best graphics designer in the world, but if you do not know how to organize your work, then it's as good as useless. So I learned like how to use a Miro board to brainstorm ideas, how to use project management tools from like 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. Yeah, so there's like so much that I could show you now. But yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Isaac. And now we hand it over to Ree to take us through her presentation. Yeah, no, we're going to ask questions after. So hopefully you'll remember what you need to ask Isaac. And yeah.
Hi, everyone. It's lovely to see you here today. Again, my name is Ree, and I'm from Tech Anatomy. And we are a dynamic development company that specializes in system and platform, also digital and animation creation, and then also we do double in app and website creation. But for today, we're going to talk about the entertainment bit of it and why we're here, and you all know that gaming is under the entertainment. So how we ended up in gaming is we initially started as a comic book group, not like a company yet. Comic book group would do comic books, would get commissioned to do comic books, then our own comic books, and obviously as you're doing your own comic books to make money, you're also doing other illustrative work for, let's say, your clients and everything. But with the love of comic book, we decided to sit down and think of a way to move forward or to grow from just doing comic books. So that's when we decided to go into animation and gaming. Actually, gaming was the best option we had come up with. So if I go to the second slide, this is one of our comics. It's called Broken Pieces. I'm just going to give you a brief about it. It's about African gods fighting for supremacy. This is one of our artists, actually, Ronald Kaema. This is his work, very lovely. And I'm just going to peruse through my slides. They're not very many, but I'll explain in detail when I get asked questions. So from there, we have a few video games that are under development. This is a video game called Maulisa. The name is from a Western god, and she's known as the god of the moon and the sun. So Maulisa is like a two names put together. So this game is based in the spirit realm, and Maulisa's mission is to go and fight spirits so that she can revive we have animals that were extinct, so her mission is to revive the to life. So this is what Maulisa is about. Then the next one, which is also still under development, is Rise of Wagga Wagga. This is a platform game. As you can see, the main character is her mission is to fight through this semi-dream-like realm so that she can get out of it. Because right now, she's sleeping. But the concept came from people who are unconscious, or maybe people who are in comas. When this conversation came up, we're thinking, what do they be thinking? Do you think they're reliving their lives? What type of dreams are they having? And then we came up with this idea of like, what if they're just trying to fight to come back to life? So why wouldn't we make a game where we have a character maybe fighting personal issues, emotional issues, to just come back to life, something like that. Then an animation we're also creating is Akara and the Cosmic Serpent. This is an animation about a girl called Akara. He's a god, and he lends her his powers for 1,000 years so that he can see what she'll do with it. So the main aim of this animation is to see if Akara will use these powers for goodwill or to do the right thing. So that's the synopsis of this. So when I go to this slide, I was asked that, yeah? What? Hello? Yes. Yeah? Let's go to the next slide. So one of the main reasons why I'm here is to talk to you all about where you can fall into gaming. As you can see, when I introduced myself, I said I came into gaming as a vocalist. I really like singing, but I'm also an artist. I went to Macquarie University, graduated in Bachelor of Fine Arts and Industrial, you know, all that. So, how would you contribute to the gaming industry? You don't have to be perfect at drawing. You don't have to be, the best 3D design. All I want you to have is some interest. And your one interest will lead you to other paths that you wouldn't have thought of in the beginning. So, one of the things you can do or work on a game, is not say, let's say, yeah, there's coding, but there's other things like costume design, there's character design, there is environmental design, there is obviously vocals. When I'm talking about vocals, there is the soundtrack and everything. Then there is the audios. You can be one of the actors, like the what do I call them? Voice actors. Yes, there's the voice acting. Also, you can be a director. You can direct the pictures that are happening, or how the screen is going to, the screenplays, yeah, the visual, everything, yes. But also another thing I would say is, once you pick something that you like, let's say you are into fashion, you now become a costume designer, but you'll find out that within this realm, you can do it in 2D, 3D, and then you'll be introduced to apps like Marvelous. And when you get into Marvelous, there is a 3D model. And this 3D model wears like, obviously the clothes will be 3D, you'll be designing in 3D. So that's how you improve your what? Your skill, your artistry. Before you know it, you'll be a 3D costume designer. And then you'll upgrade to, there is this new application that's called, I don't know if it's new, but it's new to me, because I've just started using it, Substance Creator, really lovely. Whoever came up with that, I love you. The textures you can do to your work, the textures that you can apply to make things look beautiful, all this fantasy stuff we see, you can do it if you believe in yourself. Then I'd like to show you on my last slide, sorry. This is some of the environmental work that we have been doing for some of our projects and video games. So I hope I've inspired you, and I hope that you will reach out to me, because Tech Anatomy is it's in Namave. I don't know if you guys know IDIC. No, IDIC. Yeah, the Engineering Development and Innovation Center, the government thing that's in Namave. So as he was talking, he was saying, have a space where all artists can come and grow together. We do have a space. We have computers, we have PCs, we have applications, free. I want you to come with your ideas. Tell me your ideas. Let's build on your ideas, okay? Because we want you to make your intellectual properties, we want you to make your games, we want you to make your animations. We believe in you. I just need you to believe in yourself. So there is space for you to come to visit us, and hopefully it can be your home. We do have, apart from the creations room, which has the computer appliances and everything, we do have a green room, because we do what's that thing called? Yeah, motion capture. So we have an accent suit. You can try it on. We'll get bigger sizes later, but for now, we just have that one. So in the green room, if you have an animation, if you have combat things you want to do in your animations, also for acting, that's what we use the green room for. And then we have an audio room for those who love to sing, for those who want to be voice actors, and those who also want to be narrators and everything. We have everything. We have the applications, music tools. We're here. So if you're looking for somewhere to belong, find us at IDIC Center. Yes. Oh, and lastly, we did partner up with Aridem to do the game jam. Yeah. And my team was here. They're the ones who won. Yeah. I love that they're here. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Ellie, for coming. And would also like you to come for the next game jam. We'll be giving out more information on that later on in the year. For Tech Anatomy, this was our first. It was nice. It's something I think that everyone should experience. And for my first time, we should always do this. I don't want this to be once a year. Yes. Oh, I am, specifically, I'm the lead illustrator, so I'm an illustrator. You character design, you costume design, all that sexy shit. Yeah.
So thank you both for those interesting presentations. It's really nice that you both had different, your perspectives were in different directions. And before we get into questions, I had like an overall question for both of you about the kinds of games that you are designing. Because Isaac's game is more edutainment, whereas your games are a little bit less about educating and more about entertaining. So what kind of, let's say criteria, not criteria, but what is governing the choices you're making regarding the kinds of games you're creating? Like, are you saying this is what's marketable, or this is just what I want to do and I'm going to do it anyway, or for both of you? Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first. The kind of games we're creating, honestly, these were just ideas that everyone had individually, something they believed in. But most of the time, it's usually like a story we had when, okay, my story would be a story I had when I was young, something to do with my culture and stuff like that. So there is an animation that I'm working on that would lean towards that. But when we talk about like the criteria for the type of games that we have created so far, it's based on like the person's interest and expressions. Like, let's say I want it to be fantasy. I want to talk about African gods. I have such an interest in the old African gods, yes. Or let's talk about like how I talked about the unconscious game. Like what happened, it's just like imagination, kind of like you think about things and then you get your ideas and try to bring them out. It's basically fantasy.
Then Isaac?
The main theme for Birunji Studio is social impact. How are we going to impact the lives of people? Maybe through the environment, maybe through things that we face, maybe mental health. That's why I like David's idea. It just captured my head when he showed me a fish with plastic around it. Yeah, pollution. Because the next idea is to have something that talks about how we can clean these oceans up. Maybe create a game where you clean Lake Victoria. So our mission is social impact gamification. How do you talk about gamification in an environment that emphasizes impact? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so for both of you, again, I feel like you've still dodged the I think what I was looking for is basically how the marketability of your game and what you're putting in and who you're hoping to target and how you're going to get out of that game. Like, is it I'm doing this for money and then somebody's going to come and buy the game, or I'm doing this and they're going to be super interested in it and somebody will want to invest from that angle, something like that.
So these young people have something called touch grass. I didn't know what it meant because I'm like from the 18s. But then how do you do you know what touch grass means? Huh? Good. So for me, it's just like, how do you make a game that's interactive but still emphasizes people to go out there in the environment and interact with it? I've talked to Jacob, who is doing VR, and we were having these discussions. How can a game be played while emphasizing environmental issues? So for us, we're not hoping to make money from the games. Our target is like young people. Because when I say make money, there's like publishers. Someone just comes and buys your game. But then what about funding? What about bringing people together in such? Yes, it is. Grants, funding. There are so many resources out there that we do not know about. So if someone comes and gives your company a grant of maybe $50,000 US, you can't fail to have like a 5K in your pocket because of the work you're doing. Maybe you'll say you're going to buy a car or something. But still, it's like you have money, but it's something that's going to build the company, build your portfolio. Not because through this establishment, we also have publishers and stuff, but governments are willing to give you money. That's why we're here. We're going to talk about funding opportunities if you're interested.
For sure, we are.
When we talk about money, honestly, when we were making these games, our main aim was to tell a story and for our, let's say, audience to connect with our, with the work, with the story, with the art style and everything. But at the end of the day, we want our audience to leave with lessons learned or something they've learned about Africa. So that's why we have like the broken pieces. Within that comic book, there will be like history and narrations of the gods of Africa. Then in Maulisa, we were focusing on the extinct animals. So just trying to give knowledge and just connect and entertainment, really. We weren't thinking about, make something, get money. We want to make something, connect, and from that connection, the money will come.
Okay, then for both of you again, what has been the best part of the journey so far, game making?
For me, the best part of game making is to see your product come to life. And also the growth that you've had from the day you started until now. Because if you saw my work a few years ago, it was good, but it's better now. But to see your product come to life, that's the best part about game making for me.
For me, it's going to be the networks I've created. If it wasn't for a game, I wouldn't even be sitting here with you guys. So I've been able to meet people, and I feel like this is something I should extend to people through the networks I've created, tell people about the opportunities. So the people I have met like the president of the big game hub, and he's like the most humble guy I ever know. He's not like our Ugandans who are like, man, sit there for 40 minutes, wait for me. No. So for me, it's just like, how are you going to meet people if you're not doing something? So the best part of this journey has been the connection.
And because, I'm assuming it's not a cheap industry. It's quite...
I have met people who have created beautiful games and they are broke.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I keep emphasizing this. When you're doing it, do it with passion. If you have no passion, I don't know how you're going to do it because you'll be heartbroken. But do something that you're going to show off to your friends, however sketchy it is, and be like, you know what, this is something I made. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
But I was leading up to the next question, which is how you are.
To answer?
You know, both of you are going to answer. How you are. How you are finding clients. So far, what you've talked about doesn't sound like you're doing work specifically for clients. Unless I'm wrong, you can correct me. It doesn't sound like you're looking for a client and saying, hey, we're going to build you a game. You are actually just existing as providers of a service and waiting for people to find you. So how is your, what's the setup like? What is fueling the machine?
So within the studio, we have what we call white labeling. So like white labeling, we create a game like now. It's company secret. I'm hoping they don't watch it, but we're now changing. Like white label is like you get a bee, and now it's going to be a hummingbird. So a company has reached out to us. They're like, we love your game, but can you make a bird moving through Suriname, the country? And then it's a culture exposure. But the best part of this is I have met people from the Dutch Game Association, the Swiss Game Association, the International Game Association. For me, I believe with such, if I have an idea right now and someone brings a game to me, I'll just text these people. I'm like, we need a publisher for this. And that's the best part, the connection. Always for me, the people that I know, that we have grown to know.
Can I have the question again?
Okay, so it's basically if you do have clients, how are you getting them? And if they are not, then how are you surviving? What's the business? How is it set up? Like what's going on? Not make it make sense for us.
Okay, so how it was for us was, obviously we didn't have like big clients, but what we did was make our work, post it on social media, and build a community. But from there we met people, like he said, you have connections. From there we met people that were interested in obviously investing in the game, investing in your business, stuff like that. But as you move forward, you also have to know that you have to look at certain entities in Uganda who would be interested in the type of products you're selling. So like for us, we're a gaming company and a technology company. So we had to go forward and how you guys, I don't know if you've ever applied for a grant. You apply for grants, you apply for people to fund you, stuff like that. So you have to make a really good pitch deck. You have to sell your product. So that's what we did. So from some of that, that's how we stayed afloat, and that's how we ended up at IDIC.
So both of you are saying a lot of we. I'm going to assume that means it's not one-man teams. It's, you're working with people. How has collaborating with fellow creatives been going for you? Is it like a good experience? And are you also open to like people, like random people, like the people in this audience approaching you and saying, hey, I have an idea, or, I want to join. I'm interested.
Yes, we are.
You can also tell us a bit about the team.
We're a team of 6, I think 5. There is me, then there is Ronald Kaima, there's Hannington Kisembo, there's Philip Mukasa, and then there's Gil as well. So I love working with my team. The teamwork is good. Everyone has a different job aspect to them. The designer, Ron is the illustrator and also does the coding and all that stuff. But working together helps us perfect our ideas, because all of us did art, so we can input into each other. Like, how do you feel about this? Or what do you think about this? Or I saw this new YouTube thing that I think you should watch, or I saw this tutorial, or I saw this new app that I think would be good for you. The teamwork is really great. And you asked me what I think about teamwork and new people coming. I just asked you to come and see us. So please come and see us. We want to work with you, and we want you to experience our teamwork as well.
Yeah. So initially, I work at home. People are like, "How do you work at home?" But I'm a developer, so I started with websites, now doing applications and games. So one thing I've always missed is people. Yeah, it's a real thing. Developers can understand. You're in your head the whole time, and you start saying to yourself just to see if you still speak. And then all of a sudden, you feel like you need to connect with people. Now, the thing is, I have met very different people just through this because you meet a kid who is like 16 and they're super talented and they have much better organizational skills than you've ever seen. I mean, even Toby here is one of the most organized people I've seen just from this event I've learned a lot. Yes, if you see how he does his work, it's like very super. So you learn organization skills, you like communication skills, you learn different tools that you've never even used. And someone's like, have you used Miro? And you're like, what's Miro? And like, okay, let me just give you a tutorial. Or so for me, the best part with working with people is what you have to learn from them. What am I going to learn from you? So there are different people who have different skill sets, but they are working from home or doing something solo. And when you give them a space where they can work together, you do not know what they will create. For me, this is the biggest part of the whole thing.
Okay, so while you still have the mic, and while we're still on the topic of teams, you can maybe give us an overview of the different roles, the different artistic roles that you have employed in the development of your game, like how you had music and everything. Yeah, so like the different kinds of avenues by which somebody can enter into the industry. You don't necessarily have to be the gaming person, but like, you know, you never know, somebody has a skill that might be relevant to the the game, the game.
I totally get it. So this, of all spaces, I find this to be the most diverse because you have a storyteller. I've met people who are like, man, I have this cool idea, and if I could just bring it to life, I would be so happy. So there's storyteller, there's animator, just like you. You do beautiful work, by the way. Love it. I'm your biggest fan. And then there's... I am the only. The only. Guys, check out her Instagram. I'm sorry, I'm doing an ad in the middle here, but very good work. And she brings these characters to... I had the opportunity to work with her on a very big, sensitive project, but it was like very good. I like how she did the whole thing. So
Isaac, can you focus?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so we had architects here. I saw how they implement their work. Very beautiful. We also need this in the game because we do not know how it's going to go. And then business people. Ooh. If you have a game, how do you approach someone and you're like, you know what? I need someone to promote my game or publish it. You're used to being in your basement. You've probably been there for like 2 years. You haven't communicated with anyone, and now you have to talk to people. So business is also a very critical skill. Engineering, management. Management is the most organized people. And like so many other skills, I will talk about anthropology. When you're doing a nature game like this, you need to understand what you're creating. What is it really? So brainstorming is also a skill that we need. Cinematography, communication. This is like me now coming on this stage and stammering or losing focus, like I just did. Technical writing, so you've produced a game and you need to write about it. Not everyone will do it, so it's also a very important skill. Public speaking, psychology. This is when you create a game, how is your audience going to perceive it? How are they going to retain this information? How are they going to love the experience of playing your game? You have to think about it. Music. I don't know if anyone has ever played a game without music. Because it even matter to when you play to just hear, but there is someone who created just that sound. So it's a very, and I was creating this game and it was too silent. And then someone's like, why don't we add sounds? So we had the option to either download sounds or make an original sound. And this is something that we did, and the person who did it for us was like very skilled at it. History, I can't dive into it. I already talked about how you need to know your history when you're creating a game. So yeah, it's a bunch of every skill you can think about. I mean, this list is not exhaustive of all the things you can do. There are so many other things that I could talk about, but because we don't have so much time, I'll hand over. Yeah. Have anything to add?
Could I still ask you, to explain to us a bit specifically? You're the lead artist in a team. How do you guys come together? Where do do you sit every breakfast and then everybody does a brainstorming, or what's the role of an artist is it more in the beginning of the game development? Does it go throughout? Um, how do art people and tech people really find together and work together? These kinds of things. Maybe you have from an example from one of your games. So yeah.
As an artist and tech people, I'd like to think that now as the artists that we are right now, I believe that most of us are tech people because we're into digital now. Most people are doing digital work. Most people are into, playing all those games. But as an artist, my role is to sketch out the ideas. When I sketch out the idea doesn't always remain the initial idea. It goes forth with the development person or the technical person. We have to figure out if the ideas that we have sketched are working, how do they look like, what will they look like in final form, and if they don't work, we always have to go back to the drawing board. So this is a continuous process from the beginning till the end, not just for the characters, not just for the clothing, not just for the environment, for the whole thing in general, because we can reach a point where we feel that, oh, everything looks nice, and then we wake up the next day, it's like, I don't think this is working in this section. We still go back to draw that. So, as an artist, I really do emphasize on the thumbnailing, the sketching, the final work, but this is a repetitive kind of work. Sometimes it may be tedious. That's why I encourage you to always love what you do, because you will be asked to go back and refine that character multiple times. And you would be wanting to kill somebody, but this is for your good and for the development teams as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Just to be clear, so you're drawing 2D, a 3D artist picks it up, maybe makes a model, maybe it goes into a prototype something, and it comes back, yeah. And we're using that artist brain again to go over with your hands, eh? Yeah. Cool, thanks.
Hello? Yeah. So for both of you again, where do you see the future of gaming going? I don't know if it's a prediction that you feel confident to make at this stage, but like what you, or maybe what you have in plan in store for the future, like what you're planning to bring to the Ugandan gaming scene.
I really do believe that the Ugandan gaming scene is going to boom in the next few years, because we already have events like the Game Jam and people making games in one day, and that's amazing. I was so surprised with all the participants, but mainly because of the interest that has been picked around gaming in Uganda lately. I like that people have shown their admiration, people have shown their desire to want to do more games, which I think is bringing a new set of eyes into this kind of industry. Not just us, but also the government. They're now looking at gaming. Did you ever think that this was something that the government would be interested in? Yes, so having the government back us up is a very good thing for us. That's why we're encouraging all of you to come with your ideas. You don't need to have a finished idea. You can come with what you have and we can build it together. And also, you asked what would contribute to the gaming industry. As Tech Anatomy, right now under maybe the systems and platform development, we're currently developing a console. So it's in the research and development, a console, people. Yes. That's how much we believe in this gaming industry. So it's currently in the research and development stages. When if all goes well, by beginning of next year, you'll see something from us. So, yeah.
For me, it's our parents will respect us more. Because you tell them that you're an artist and like, what? You're not a doctor, you're not an engineer. What are you? I do games. Eh? So in future, hopefully we can have a portfolio of, I created this game, I'm now famous. Or something that will bring pride to artists. So if we have games developed by Ugandans, super. Me, I'm fine with this. Coming into Uganda to attend a Uganda game jam or our comic like cosplay event, Comic Con. For me, I feel like if we have something like this, that's good enough for us. Yeah, so the respect, the responsibility, and the culture all in one place, that's what I would want to see. Yeah. I don't know if it answers your question.
But maybe a sneak peek into like any future games that you are developing. You say that you have, I don't know what you called it, but you said like somebody can come up to you and say, okay, now I've seen IB exploring and I want it to be a bird or I want it to be something else. Yeah.
That's white labeling our content. Yeah, so it's like you already have a game existing and then someone likes the idea and is like, do this for me.
Okay, so are there any plans to release anything else after IB exploring? Is there anything in development?
We don't have a title for the game yet, but it's something for Suriname. But the reason I'm actually here is I want us to do something as Uganda. Those people, let them do theirs, but let's also do something here. It will be the most fun thing for me. Meeting people and we do something, putting it out there like, this is a Ugandan game. Yeah. So I'm open to, you can have your idea, develop it, copyright it, but we shall have an association that protects what you create.
Okay, do you have anything to add to that, Ree? Okay, then this is my own question. I want to ask how you approach, how you're thinking about yourselves as creatives. Do you create as a Ugandan first in the sense that you want when people look at your work to immediately know that, oh, this is created by a Ugandan? Or do you create from an independently creative space whereby like you just, it doesn't have to have a specific cultural identity. It's just something that you're putting out there and it's like anybody can consume it without the context. Something that's maybe vague or, I don't know, not necessarily, well, you've understood the question, I guess.
Yeah, very good question. It depends on context, I guess. If you're doing something cultural, and we say maybe you're writing about Bachwezi, then you'll do some guy with superpowers disappearing or he has fire, and it's a Bachwezi story. And that's something that if someone is looking into Ugandan games, they'll understand the history of Bachwezi or the kingdoms that existed before. That's a historic game. But then if you're doing something natural, then it's also telling you about the nature of Uganda. So when we are designing these games, the first thing is it going to impact anyone? So the impact is maybe cultural, entertainment, but as I told you before, as social impact, our emphasis is on how do we impact people. So if we can get someone out there to touch grass more, for us that's good. Yeah.
What about you?
I think our basis is from storytelling, and most of our stories are some are Ugandan stories, but we don't necessarily strive to be like, hey, go to the book, that guy did this. No. We get that story and then we put our imagination into it. So maybe like revamp the character. So give it really, really nice highlights that would attract the audience, that would really make a good, your story is already good, but would make your story better. So we do have the underlying cultural bit of it, but we don't want to like restrict that, let me say, pool to only be cultural, because anyone can come up with an idea and it's not only cultural, or it may be based off something you saw in a movie, based off something you saw here. Yeah, but yeah, most of our stories are cultural, but we don't want to, what do they call it? Yeah, box ourselves only into that type of box. We just want it to be like a foundation, but then grow from there. Yeah.
Okay, so if there is one thing that you would say is like very, like something that from your years of experience, as you've grown with each job that you've done, with every project that you've worked on, if there's one thing that you feel is like very, very important to keep in mind within the gaming industry, like this is the one thing that everybody should look out for, what would you say that is from your experience? So it's tough to come up with one thing, but yeah, if you can come up with one thing.
To look out for positively or negatively?
Positively, like something that's going to help you, like give you like know it, your journey would be that much harder. But if you have this knowledge and you're going saying that, oh, I'm going to focus on like maybe presentation, or I'm going to focus on I don't know, on research or the team or networking, or like what's that one thing that you feel that has allowed you to come to where you are right now, among all the things that have brought you here, that one thing that without it, most likely things would collapse?
Well, I would just like to piggyback off Isaac's comment of connections, because without the people that we have met, we wouldn't have known some of these systems, wouldn't have known some of these applications, because it's through your connections that you get talking, just like how we're talking here, that you find out about new things that you could use, new knowledges, new learning skills, new ideas. So I really want you to also work on your connections and keep growing your network and learn. Please learn. Don't just go there and be like, hey, I know all this and this. You may know, yes, but there's also so much more to learn. And there's so much more to adapt to, and there's so much more to give and to take in.
I totally agree. And I think for me, it's if I know someone who does something better than I do, I'll give them the project. I know I want money, but if you're a better cinematographer than me, or if you are a better animator than me, why would I just do something fake that's going to put me, like, I don't know what the client will think, but they'll be like, not good enough. If I know Maria is a very good animator, I'll give her the project. Yeah, for me, I feel like the purpose of connection is, if someone is better, why would I struggle? I mean, my friends know this. If someone wants a poster and I know someone who does a better poster, handle it.
I know it's true for cooking, isn't it?
I don't know.
You want the best cook to make the meal.
Yeah, because most people are like selfish and they see the money. Oh my God, I'm getting $5,000 on this. Why would I involve Toby? Yeah, but for me, if I know he's better at organizing events, take on. Like, if you want, you give me some money. But for me, I feel like you're better at it, do it. And the client will always know me as their connect. So it grows into this space. So I've had so many people call me and say, do you know someone who repairs computers? And I'm like, yeah. I can even say I do it myself and just take it to Toby. So for me, that's the thing. My network is my worth. If you're good at something, do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're going to open up the
Yeah.
floor to the audience.
I have a last one before. We talked a lot about, or you both mentioned collaboration, of course. Sure, we understand now. These things are not made by one man, one woman alone. Picture me as an artist, let's say an illustrator, an animator. Now I'm getting into working with a game studio, someone who's in the conceptual side. Give me some tips. What are the things beside me being a good artist and being creative? What's important to know, to work together, to collaborate, any other skills that I need and things I can take away?
Do you want to answer first?
Um, I would urge you to learn some of the applications. So if you're like, let's say you're stuck on Photoshop and you're only working in Photoshop and you come to us, the gaming, development people, we're gonna tell you to start venturing out into other applications, because from there you'll grow your style, you'll grow as an artist, because who says you only have to stop at 2D? You could go into the animation application that we put you in, learn how to sequence, learn how to, move your characters, and then also you as an artist with your ideas, and let's say you have a character or you have this amazing environmental ideas, you're going to draw this for me, but some days, like I said before, I might not bring it out the way you had imagined it. So as we do this project together, I'm also going to need you to learn a few things from the application or from the design process that I go through, so things can go easier for the both of us.
Sorry, repeat your question.
So let's say in order for me as an artist to be a good collaborator, what would be the tips things that you would look for, things that I need to know? What makes me a good collaborator in the gaming space?
For me, the biggest thing is an open mind, because I concur with what you said. What are you open to learning, to expand on what you already know? For me, that's like the thing. And a good sense of humor, I guess.
Guys, any questions you have? As long as we can keep those two here, chain them to the seat. Raise your hands. We have that microphone going around.
So my first one is a question and inquiry to you, Mr. Isaac. Do you have like different types of bees in your game, whereby you fail with a certain type of bee, they ask you questions for that kind of bee? Or right now it's just the one bee and it's in that test phase, trying to kind of like grow from that?
Very beautiful question. So right now we have only one biome. One biome with one bee. So there are different types of bees. But this one specifically is the one that goes out on the hunt for food. But someone asked this, I'm sorry, it's proprietary. Is that the word? Like, I'm not supposed to say this, but we are creating a strategy game within this sector where each bee has a role. The queen bee is supposed to lay eggs. There are drones supposed to protect. So it's something that's going to expand. There's so much we can do with just bees. So a strategy game. I don't know if anyone has played Rome. It's a small Android game where you strategically place your bees. In Rome is just like soldiers, but the concept here is bees. What role does this bee play? What happens? Who is supposed to collect the propolis? So it's something that we are working on to improve it, to improve the whole. It's not going to be a bee exploring, maybe a bee protecting, but something like that. Yeah, I be working. Yeah.
And then, Miss Ree, this can also go to you as well. What do we do, those who are dying to be within your guidance and learning and working with you? How do we reach out to you? You want to work with us. So how do we approach you? Where to find you? Like, yeah, we need to know, please.
So, the UNG studio is open. We haven't had an office yet. Hopefully, we'll have a place here very soon, if they can let us be here, so that you can come and do your ideas from here. But she already told you about the very beautiful idea, and hopefully I'll even go there and place my office there or work from there. But you can send me an email, isaac@birungi.studio, support@birungi.studio, and then we shall have different meetups, but something like this, but maybe for game development. So it's isaac@birungi.studio. Send us a message, and then we'll develop something together, because this is actually why I'm here, to talk about the game, but most importantly, to develop something as Uganda. I don't know if it answers your question.
Yes, I'm the one who wants you the most. So, you'll find us in Namave. The facility is called the Engineering Development and Innovation Center. And the people you'll be looking for are the Multimedia Hub. So I'm going to give you my number. It's on WhatsApp. So we'll continue the conversation from there. But yes, I want you. 0788 492525 again. It's on WhatsApp. Read.
Another question?
I stand up. Excuse me, miss. The thing I have is. Yes? You're not here? Okay. I like your work, mostly. Yours. I'm a 2D person. I do 2D animation.
Ours.
Yes?
It's ours, multiple artists.
Yes, I've seen. I'm mostly interested in the 2D stuff. Though, my question is, it's funny, but the thing is, your company it's feminine. Like, most of it's feminine. Like, most of the characters and everything, I'm seeing from girl to girl to girl to girl. Where are the men? We want men. You're not represented in your company, and I'm. Yes. No. I know there's a theme and all that, but we need to be represented also. Like the main characters, the male. Yes.
We do have a game games that have male characters. It's only that this time we're trying to, actually I wanted to attract the ladies, because we usually get mostly boys who always come. So I want also the women to come by, but don't feel like I've neglected you as a species. There are characters who are male, very strong and big. You will see them when you come and see us.
Another question?
Hello, Ms. Ray. So my question goes to you. You mentioned about the government and some support and all that. Government support, you mentioned about that. So yeah, I'm very curious because that's very interesting because I didn't know that they support such things. So does that support come with like some policies and all that? Because I love gaming. I know how to do this. Do I just go and get my laptop and do my own things, or there are policies that come with the support and all, like government? Is there things about government on gaming in Uganda?
You mean like when you come to the...
Just me creating.
Oh.
Yeah, is there something to do with the government and that? Cause
oh no, you do.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, we want to know what that could be.
I'm not
like policy or something like.
Well, one of my partners in tech would have been the best person to answer that, but he's not here today. Maybe I'll get that information for you, but I don't think that there's anything restricting you as you are to come join us and make a game. When I say that they're supporting us, they're actually backing us up in pushing forward the gaming industry. And that can be seen from the previous Game Jam, because that was the SDI that had backed us up to do that. They're the ones who funded the whole, the gaming function that happened that time. But in regards to policy, I cannot really talk about that. Maybe when my other partner comes some other time, they will.
Wo- Would you be down to support student gaming events or functions? Would you be down to support student gaming functions?
Student gaming function?
Yes. Gaming functions like gaming events.
Like what?
Gaming events.
Student gaming events?
Yes.
Most of the people who were at the Game Jam were students.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, the younger you are, the better, because you start young, eh? Grow that industry. Come.
The question's done.
So you said that everything is free. The mentorship, the the computers, the food.
Food there, first wait.
Okay, I understand that everything is free. Like, for example, the mentorship, the computers, the equipment. So my question is, what does Tech Anatomy or EDIC get from it?
Okay, so nice one there, yeah? So when you come and you're making your game, it's your idea. It's your IP. So we're the ones providing you with the infrastructure to bring your game to life. So in sense, it's like a collaboration or a partnership. So during this process, obviously you're going to have to sign an agreement with us, and maybe a small percentage of, your game to us. So we'll help you finish your game till publishing levels. Then we'll also push you to be published. But that's the catch. I mean, it's a partnership. We're looking to partner up. Yeah. Make sense?
Good afternoon. My name is Cedric, and my question goes to like both of you. It's more of an inquiry, but also like an insight. I wanted to know, okay, like throughout your presentations, like none of you has brought about or talked about AI or incorporating AI in your workflows. I want to know how, like you as companies, like animation, gaming, illustration, how are you doing that, and how can someone who's trying to create work incorporate AI in the process? Yeah, being it automating functions, anything to do with that.
Okay. So thank you. I was waiting for this AI question. There was a slide you guys saw and stopped at. Yes. Just like many of you people, I really did hate AI. I was really against it. Because I thought, yes, they're going to take our jobs, which is a possibility, but we have to move forward. So what I will say is I need you guys to learn how to use AI as a tool. Not that, hey, I'm going to put this in and then that final artwork. No, you have to learn how to use it. You have to learn how to do prompts. I will need you to go to YouTube to do YouTube research on how to make the right prompts, because you can't tell AI, just do this and think it will give you whatever it wants. But you're the one directing it to create the image or to create the sketch for you. But you shouldn't stop just there. This is a tool to help you make maybe your life easier, but go ahead and do the real work. Just don't use the AI thing by itself, but use it as a tool. I don't want you to disregard it because it's here and it's for you to use. You just need to learn how to use it. how it's you guys know the Gemini, right? Yes, banana. What I forgot it. It's called, yeah, nano banana. So you have your initial sketch. Let's say from Krita, Photoshop, feed it into there. Yeah, when you've colored and everything, and then you get like maybe 4 references that you like, maybe from an animation that you liked, or from real life, or even your own photos that you've taken on your phone. Now, the key or the catch is to write a specific prompt and direct the AI on what you really want to see when it merges these images together to give you the output that you're looking for. Yeah.
Can you add on that? I think it's an interesting example. So what was that used for? Because that's not popping up in the game as such.
This is for an animation we're currently developing. Yes. Oh no, it's the environment type thing. Yes.
AI, two sides. Company policy, we don't use AI. Personally, I love AI. Because it thinks of things I wouldn't have thought of. But like she said, use it as a tool. So in the game, there is no AI generation. But some things, when you're thinking of an idea and you put it into one of your AI assistants, it will give you a big idea than you thought of. And then if you're very good at AI, you can create your own workflows, make things simpler for everyone, so you can build a tool. So when people talk about AI, they just imagine you typing something into ChatGPT, how to do this, create this for me. But then you can create a whole workflow. And because it's code related, if you're doing something and pushing it to like GitHub, there is a workflow how things should be run. And so you can create your own tool. Maybe create your timer using a system prompt, and then time yourself how long it has taken you to work on a certain thing. So it depends really on what you want to use AI for. But I emphasize it's a tool. Recently at DGAT Fest, there's someone, I'm sorry to say, someone had printed shirts. And then I walked to them and I'm like, is this by AI? He's like, no, it's with AI. So there's a difference apparently.
One more question?
Yes, so in all the games I have seen from both the either mobile or PC or console, but what if my idea is like more of an interactive game, because I'm working on a game, it's like a trivia, like a quiz. Cards. Yes, it's a physical game. So, but then I'm also thinking of maybe taking it into mobile, but it's basically physical. I've made a demo, some people tried it out, but if that's my idea, it's more of a physical game. Are you welcome to search?
You're asking me? Both of us. Okay. As for tech, I would have to go back with that, but I said games, yes. But I individually, as an illustrator, I have done physical card games before. I did some for an NGO, and the purpose of these cards were to fight stigmatization, so I can understand where you're coming from. I also wanted to bring this in with my team, that not only digitally, but we should also push certain things like card games like that. So it's something we're actually talking about. But yes, I'm going to still tell you to come, because you do have someone who has experience in making, so that would be nice for you to have someone to mentor you in that way.
Yeah, so for us, for me, I would say it's nice to get your idea, maybe have some IP so that we don't steal your idea. What we shall do, because we AI studio that's credited and all this stuff. We give you people to work on the game with because we don't charge anything. So you have your idea and they look at it, connect you to mentors from across the globe. He has developed a game, by the way. He has worked on it. I don't know if he wants to share.
But collaboration, it is not same. I'm doing some art, some others do the dev.
Yeah, so we have mentors from different like level of mentors to artists to coders who will help you finish your product. We will not say it's ours. You can have it as you. What we shall do is provide people who are willing to collaborate, mentor you, and maybe if the game is very good, give you publishers so that your game is out there. So it's something that you can reach out. We don't charge anything. Same, I keep saying, social impact. We do not want any money from you. If you get some money from your publisher, good for you. For us, we are good having a community of people developing games. That's enough for us.
Sorry, I don't take most of your time, but I will tell you, for you to have a physical game, I think you have two properties or two nice things, because then you can have a physical, and then we can also help you digitalize it in a way. Yeah?
Awesome. I think the questions are not so much anymore. Let's try something. Couple of you, share with us briefly a takeaway from today. What will you take away? This is my learning about me as a creative in the gaming industry. Who has the courage to jump in?
Or we can select at random.
Yeah, this man was select at random.
Is there anyone?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Godwin. My takeaway is I'm not a creative like you. I'm in media development, but I always come for such meetings, and I'm really amazed at how we have good people, but we don't know their stories. Maybe that's the best way. I always come for these meetings not because Toby is my friend, but to hear from you. Now, what that gentleman there was sharing, and madam, what you are sharing, it's really something in a story that needs to be told about Uganda and how we can grow our creatives, how we can, I mean, if you watch our television sets or read newspapers, where I come from, we do research on what media covers. Less than 1% is told about creatives in Uganda. And yet this is a really big industry where we need to work together and see things grow to another level. My takeaway is to encourage you guys, but also I'm amazed at how much talent we have. I read the story of these two gentlemen. I saw it was published somewhere, and I shared it with someone. And I said, this is something we need to be doing regularly. Not only you gamers, but also other people in the creative spaces. Please, I encourage you, as Toby organizes, Kelele Creative organizes such events, please let's collaborate, let's talk. I know things will be better for each and everyone, and you all benefit. Thank you very much.
Another takeaway?
Thanks. It's nice to meet you, both of you. You all have inspiring work. Nice colors in the big game. Speak louder. Okay. I like your colors, your color choices in the games. They're nice. The big guy, nice colors. And also the idea is also nice. And you work for the character in a forest standing with what creature is that? It's a skunk, I think, right? Okay, the creature that the chick is standing with in a forest. Yes? It's a honey badger? All right, it's good. It's good work. It's good work, and I'm even surprised that there are background artists that draw like that. I've looked for them, like, straight from school. Like, guys who draw such backgrounds. It's nice work, and me majorly, I'm impressed. That's the truth. I know that in this room, there are so many talented people, and I know some of them, like Dave and the B1 squad. But the thing is, to accomplish something great in this country, we need, sorry if I'm going to, give me a minute. But the thing is, I always say this, if our parents knew what we knew today, we would be somewhere. But unfortunately, back in the days, there were only 5 jobs in Uganda. And I can mention them, doctors, engineers, pilots. If you're neither of those 5, lawyers, also get lost. But now they are artists, they are cartoonists, they are painters and all that, and it's a good thing. So if this industry grows, our kids will mainly benefit from it, and we have to keep the foundation strong for them and for ourselves. Thank you for this. It's my second time coming here. I last came here in 2023. So I think 3 years have passed almost, but thank you for this. Thank you. I think that we meet different people, and I hope that after here we can talk.
You said something that your kids will be the only ones to benefit from this.
No. I don't think you've understood the statement properly. What I mean is what we do today. If, like I told you, if our parents knew what we know today, or what we have in mind, if they did it back then, let me say in the 70s or so, right now we'll be better than we are. But they didn't know that. But thank God we do. You understand? So if we develop this and make this, good, they will be better, and the thing will just keep on growing, just like Japan. Japan's anime, the 50s animes are so bad. They're really bad. But right now, Japan's a powerhouse for 2D animation, right? Japan and Ireland, I think. So yeah, that's how it starts. It starts with meetings like this, then there's companies, big guys, stuff like this. This is how it starts, then it grows. And so we should keep on moving. Yes, there are a lot of discouragers, there are a lot of naysayers, and it's true. People are going to come and like, what are you really doing? And yes, these things take time, but we need to be patient, and we need to do good work. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for your history about the bees, and it's nice to meet all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your compliment. I just want to add something small, because even now my grandpa doesn't understand what I do. I told him I did something with computers, but whenever electricity goes off, he's like, go to the ceiling and see what's happening. So I can never try to explain to him that computers are different from electricity. He's like, yeah, Kaizo, first go and see what's, yeah, it's power, I don't know. But then if there was one takeaway that I would want from this place, I would want to hear of people who met here or somewhere and collaborated on a project. They developed something together. For me, that would be a win. For Kelele, for Birungi, for everyone. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We have someone else with a conclusion, with a takeaway?
Ali, you do?
Last one here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is my first time here, and I'm really impressed with whatever that's happening here.
Chebeleko.
One of the best things that I've picked from all this is that there's nothing that is new, not in a bad way, but the fact that their ideas are from things that are already around us, and they are creating, and it has innovated them to do what they are doing. He was a beekeeper, and out of nowhere he's now having a game about bees. So I urge everyone to use their environment. That's where the cultural thing comes in. Like, use your environment to create something that's going to be, to create something. Because even in the Bible it says we have to co-create. So it means we have to use what is there to create what's new. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So before we wrap this up, there will be some small announcements. But let me thank you two, really from our heart. This is, it's not taken for granted. You're spending the time, you're bringing your hearts and energy to share all those insights. So guys, give it up for Ree and Isaac here. Thank you so much. Awesome. I think I can release you, or you stay seated, whatever's comfortable. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. So we will, I will check with you what kind of information we can put in the group chats and all, but we'll make sure that you guys can get connected to both of these initiatives. It's really cool. So yeah, my takeaway is also, we heard so much about collaboration, that people are out there that are actually kind of waiting for you to step up and to show your face and show what you're doing. And I know as an artist, as a creative, yeah, you know this whole thing is a little bit about getting you out of your bedroom, in front of your computer, or wherever you sit, to get connected. So use that network stuff. And just think about it. You never know, maybe the next person you meet, you say hi to, is someone you're going to make a friend with, and someone you might be collaborating with. And I know that this is sometimes just for, let's say, introverted people, or people we love to be deep buried into our creative work. Just take those chances. Go out there, go to those meetups and those places where you can connect, and you just never know what comes out of it. So, thank you all for being here. Well done to yourself. It's been good. Also, something we've been crafting on, you will read about it in our chat and on the channels, is a bit of a platform to create for you to have your portfolio online and to bridge the gap for you to find some clients. This will be now kind of the Kelele network, the network behind it of artists. We'll make it a bit hard to get in. We want to create a certain trust with, there's some people, let's say, that come, they knock on my door, they phone me up and say like, so many creatives, we're needing a videographer, we need some illustrators, so and so. So we want to start slowly, start to bridge that gap. So look out for that. It's going to be called genius.kelelecollective.org. Coming soon, we'll let you know. The whole idea is you can create a small profile there, and we will go through them and actually give you feedback on it, whether that is up to the standards where we can say like, yes, clients come and find these people, and make it available on the other side of, we're targeting like small businesses, right, who are looking for that artist, that exactly the one that they need, someone who's doing a small product. They look for an illustrator to add something to their social media campaign. So we want to spread that out there to make a link to make that happen. Yeah. So that's about it. Yeah.
Question is, how do people join this group, and how do they share this link with other people?
So right now this is still in the development. We're almost there to share the wait list. I think right now you can even, not so sure, I haven't checked yesterday if the wait list link is there. We'll definitely share these things in our WhatsApp group. Yeah. So there's these QR codes around on the table. That's the WhatsApp group. Also, for us to stay connected, anything Kelele you'll find at kelelecollective.org/hello. You get a link to our podcast there. We're working on a second season sometime. So we're working on things to get you a bit more involved, share your interests, your topics that you're interested with. Also, we might have a talk what's coming up in terms of tech space, linking up people in that gaming space, all those things. Tell us again, the association is called Ugandan Gaming
Game Developers Association.
I want to make sure you get that. We're waiting for announcements from that, and we'll certainly share that. We think of maybe we can create from Kelele a single gaming community channel, something, just to open up the communication spaces to be in touch with each other. That's pretty much it. Now, don't forget your to-do. Meet someone you've not met. Thank you guys all for coming. I hope you're inspired and encouraged to go on and create. Let's be in touch. Get on our WhatsApp. Thank you so much. Have a great, great time. And give yourselves a hand. We will in you. Guys, we're going to try to make a group picture. How do we do that? Yeah, maybe just everyone, before you start talking, come to me. We're going to line up sort of around here.